Imagine standing in the court of one of ancient India's greatest philosopher kings. Hundreds of the finest Vedic scholars have gathered from across the land. Their knowledge is unmatched. Their pride is immense. And at the center of the royal court stand 1,000 magnificent cows, each with 10 gold coins tied to its horns, the prize for the greatest knower of Brahman. But before anyone even speaks, one sage calmly turns to his disciple and says, "Take the cows home." The entire court falls silent, then erupts in outrage. How dare, how dare he declare himself the greatest without debate? And that fearless sage was Yajnavalkya. And among those determined to challenge him was one of the greatest Vedic scholars of the age, Śākalya. What followed wasn't merely a debate. It became one of the deepest conversations ever recorded about the nature of God, reality, and the one behind the many. The story comes from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, one of the oldest and most profound Upanishads. King Janaka of Videha was not just a ruler, he rather was a seeker of wisdom. His court had become the intellectual center of ancient India, where philosophers, sages, ritual experts, and spiritual masters gathered to discuss the highest truth. To encourage these discussions, Janaka announced a grand assembly. The greatest knower of Brahman would receive 1,000 cows adorned with gold. Now most scholars hesitated. Who could confidently claim to know Brahman? But Yajnavalkya showed no hesitation. He simply instructed his disciple, "Drive the cows home." Not because of arrogance, but rather because he knew that the debates would eventually prove it. One by one, scholars challenged him. He answered every question, and then came Śākalya. Śākalya wasn't no ordinary man. He wasn't no ordinary scholar. He was among the greatest authorities on the Vedas. He possessed extraordinary command over hymns, rituals, classifications of deities, and sacred traditions. If anyone could expose an error in Yajnavalkya's knowledge, it was him. Unlike earlier sages who asked spiritual questions, Śākalya attacked through precise Vedic scholarship. His questions came rapidly, almost like cross-examination. His aim wasn't simply to learn, it was to defeat. Śākalya asked, "How many gods are there?" It seems like a simple question, but Yajnavalkya's answer surprised everyone. He replied, 3,306. Śākalya accepted the answer, then immediately asked again, "How many gods are there?" Yajnavalkya answered, 33. Again Śākalya asked, "How many?" Yajnavalkya said, 6. Again, 3. Again, 2. Again, 1.5. And finally, Śākalya asked once more, "How many gods are there really?" Yajnavalkya smiled and answered, 1. The entire court must have been astonished. How could every one of those answers be correct? Had Yajnavalkya contradicted himself? Not at all. He rather was revealing layers of understanding. The famous 33 gods were not 330 million gods, as is often mistakenly claimed. The Upanishad refers to 8 Vasus, 11 Rudras, 12 Adityas, and 2 Ashwini Kumaras. Together they make 33. These are cosmic principles governing the universe, not separate rival gods competing for power. Yajnavalkya next groups the divine powers into 6 great manifestations. Different commentators explain this slight differently. But the point is clear. Many divine powers can be understood through broader cosmic categories. Multiplicity begins merging into unity, and then he speaks of 3 worlds: earth, atmosphere, heaven. Every deity functions within these universal domains. Instead of many independent gods, the cosmos itself becomes the framework. Next comes 2, matter and life, food and breath, the physical universe and the force that animates it. Without one, the another has no meaning. This is perhaps the most mysterious answer. The Upanishad identifies it with Vayu, the wind. But why 1.5? Because air pervades and connects everything. It is greater than the visible world, yet still points beyond itself. It bridges the many and the one. Finally, Yajnavalkya declares, there is only one. The countless gods, forces, powers, and names are expressions of one ultimate reality. That one is described as prana, the life force, and ultimately Brahman, the infinite consciousness that appears as everything. Just as countless waves arise from one ocean, thousands of rays emerge from one sun, and countless ornaments are fashioned from one gold. Likewise, all gods arise from the one reality. Now Śākalya had exhausted his questions. Every answer had only revealed a deeper layer of truth. Then Yajnavalkya spoke. You have questioned me long enough. Now answer one question from me. He asked about the ultimate self, the reality that exists beyond every deity, beyond every name, beyond every ritual, beyond even the gods themselves. Śākalya stood silent. His vast learning could not carry him beyond intellectual knowledge. The Upanishad then records a startling statement. Śākalya's head fell off. Ancient commentators interpret this in different ways. Some regard it as a literal consequence of challenging realized wisdom without true understanding. Others see it symbolically. His head, the seat of pride and mere intellectual mastery, collapsed. Knowledge without realization had reached its limit. Now this debate is often misunderstood as a discussion about the number of Hindu gods, but it is actually about something far deeper. The Upanishads never deny the many gods worshipped in the Vedas. Instead, they ask a deeper question. What is the source from which all these forms arise? Now Yajnavalkya's answer is evolutionary. The many are real as manifestations, but their essence is one. The one appears as many without ever ceasing to be one. This is the foundation upon which later Vedanta, and especially Advaita Vedanta, builds its philosophy. More than 2000 years ago, a scholar asked, how many gods are there? He expected a number. Instead, he received a journey from 3306 to 33 to 6 to 3 to 2 to 1.5, and finally to 1. The debate reminds us that wisdom is not about collecting more facts. It is about seeing the unity hidden beneath diversity. And as the Upanishads repeatedly declare, the truth is one. The wise describe it in many ways. If you enjoy exploring the timeless wisdom of the Vedas and Upanishads through authentic storytelling, subscribe to Eternal Tandav.